Hey everyone, it's Evie here. I am just getting myself all set up and ready to go so that we can be live. It's alive. And we're going to talk about a deck that I just came in today, and it's I actually did try to do a live chat earlier, like around 1 o'clock ish. Yay, we got Bella! We got Bella! Yay! Um I was planning to actually I did go live around 1 o'clock ish to do a first impressions video and stuff. But first off, nobody was on. Yay. So because now we got people on that we could have some dialogue about this deck. And B, there was a flaw in the video because what happened was my laptop here that I'm filming on right now was being a little funny, and it was kind of being funny in the sense that it was taking a long time to load up, and I thought, well shoot, then I could probably do a quick like 14-minute, 15-minute quick flip through of the deck and all that stuff and go through. But the problem was my phone, the thing that I was filming on. Okay. Yes, I tried to talk to you, but you were frozen. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, Bella. That it all of a sudden froze, and then the live stream just didn't work, and it was, and it was like, okay, maybe I'll turn it all off, turn my phone all off, and reboot everything, and try again after I feed the kids and everything, because I did have some adulting things to do real quick. And I just thought, okay, then I'll just go ahead and try again after I have no obligations to uphold. So that's what I decided to do. So unfortunately, you're going to miss the unboxing part of the deck, which is okay by me because it had things like addresses, and he had nothing really fancy as far as wrapping goes. He's got little bits of love adulting for sure. And he's got things like newspapers and stuff that kept the deck and everything together. But it came with a lot of goodies. For a deck that was, I think, $55 on Kickstarter, he did make sure that there was a lot of goodies that came with this deck. One of the things, he came, partly the reason why it came with a lot of goodies, I believe, is because he went above and beyond what his limited budget was. So let's say his budget was $1,500 or $5,000, $10,000, whatever the budget was. He went over that budget by a landslide, and he was able to add things like guidebooks and this cool little pin that I'm going to see if I could show here without that glaring light. But yeah, and so like this cool pin that comes with the deck too, and that was awesome. And this will go on one of my tarot bags behind me here, and I just can't wait to put it on one of my tarot stuff. So that was one of the things that came with. Another thing it came with is a business card with his information. And I really like his business card. It was very nice, very matte. He does, apparently he's a comedian, writer, and artist. So let's all go, ooh, comedian. So he was saying in his little love letter, too, he wrote everybody a love letter, and I'll get to that here in a second. He was saying in his little love letter that he is an artist by day, comedian by night, and a writer in between all that stuff, I think. So it's really interesting. I thought that was cool. I never knew that he would be a comedian after looking at this deck. This deck is a kind of a dark deck, just to warn everybody before I get into the cards. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, I couldn't tell you any the very first impressions, but it's still a very new deck to me, so it's still going to be a first impressions, by the way. So he wrote a very nice thank you letter that I thought was sounded very personal, and it was Very, very sweet. And okay, it says share it on Facebook, post it on Twitter and Instagram. I have surplus decks, posters, and CDs and pins available on my website. Your help would mean the world to me. So, okay, so I am doing this deck, the deck creator, a favor to spread the word about getting this deck out there for other people to perhaps even purchase a deck, their own copy of the deck. And so apparently the Tarot Restless, this is called the Tarot Restless, is still available on his website, and the pins are available too. But I think everybody on Kickstarter got for serve. So there you go. So it comes in one of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tuck boxes, and I'll get into the deck in the tuck box here in a second. And this is one of the reasons why the deck took longer than January to come out, was he worked on this beautiful little guidebook. It's nothing really fancy as far as books go, and it has no pictures, but I thought it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful that he even wrote a guidebook, because it wouldn't have come with a guidebook, I think, if and so this was one of the things that it was he made beyond his budget, and he went ahead and made a full guidebook for this deck. It says Restless Meditation, so I wonder if I haven't even read anything in the guidebook yet, but it probably has maybe some meditation things in there. I'll have to see. So so he has his Tarot Restless story here. And this is one of the things I couldn't film on my phone, but I could film here, is some of those little pages and stuff that he has. And so I'm going to be looking at the guidebook upside down. He does have a spread in here. It says how to conduct a reading is right here. So I want to read this guidebook. It's not a long guidebook, so it will take me an afternoon to read. And this is one of the spreads that it comes in. It's called the Missio reading. I'm probably reading it upside down, so it's probably butchering it right. I'm butchering it bad. Yeah, if I could talk today. I'm not talking very well today. So it immediately goes into the minors, and the majors are in the back. I have to do some more research on the deck and stuff, because it's either he completely added some majors and subtracted some majors, but I think he's renamed most of the majors. So let me see, because he added like the sorceress and contemporess, and I don't think the contemporess is anything. I think it's something that he added into the deck. And so the widower and the widow is widower would be the, I'm sorry, everyone, I'm doing it upside down. But the widower would be the empress, and the widow would be, no, I'm getting it backwards too. But yeah, so the widower is the man, would be the emperor, and the widow would be the empress. I'm totally butchering everything today. I'm sorry. Need to wind down just a little bit. And then they have lovers. Black smoke would probably be is something that he added, I'm guessing. Revenge might be the strength card. He's completely reworded some of them and added his own majors, I think. That's what he did. So it's going to be interesting walking through this deck, working with this deck, because I think he subtracted some and added some. So it's the majors are unique to this deck. So when we open the box, it's that beautiful pull-out box. So yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and separate it with I did this earlier, but I'm going to do this again. Separate it from the majors into the. I usually do majors first and then minors. So these are the majors that I'm gonna show you first, and it immediately the deck yeah. I wish that I could speak today, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I can't talk at all, but it comes with a very nice gilded edges, and the cardstock is very kind of glossy. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of the Schiffer Publishing gloss, but it's definitely a lot more workable than the Schiffer decks. It's a regular tarot sized, and it's here's the bags, everyone, and you can pretty much see the gloss shining in the light there. So yeah. Oh my goodness! If I can learn how to speak today, we will learn how to speak today. Can't talk. Can't talk. But yeah, this is all right. The majors. So we got the undecided as the first majors card, and it's very, very, very interesting. Look at the art. It's a very dark deck. I have to say that it is very dark, and it has okay, maybe some viewer discretion is advised, before we show the cards. I should have done, like, a notice that it probably is not in a very appropriate deck for little ones around if you have little ones around or anything like that. So maybe, you should stop this live stream now, maybe watch it later, or if you have little ones, if you're watching this later, and wait for another time. I'm sorry. I should have done some sort of disclaimer because some of these images can be a little bit if you could tell here is a little dark and in a very sensual way. I wouldn't say sexual. This deck is nothing sexual about it, I think, but it's a very sensually dark, using some body parts and things like that in some ways like that sorcerer card. And this is the Contemporus. And so I think this is very much a shadow work deck. I think he very much intended this deck to be a very shadow worky deck. And so this is the Widow. I think it would be equivalent to the Emperor archetype. I had to read the guidebook that he brought with the deck. And this is the Widow. And I really like that. She looks very powerful. And this, I think, would be equivalent to the Empress card. This is the Hierophant, so he kept the Hierophant. And then here's the Lovers. And I really like that, actually. It's a very dark. And then also it's kind of the colors are not the camera's not doing the colors justice. The colors are really, really red. Like, this is, like, electric red, and this is, like, electric black. So, I'm sorry that, the colors are not gonna really show in the camera as well. And I really, really, really love this black smoke right here. This was one of the cards that yes, this would be like a graphic novel kind of, and so this is, like a jet black, and very ink. I think he did like this is an ink-based deck. And this is like a very jet black, even though it doesn't look jet black. And oh, you're buying Miss Bella. But yeah, he said it's still available, so you can still buy it in the chat. But yeah, so it's like jet black, and this is like jet white because of the gloss. The gloss really does bring out the colors. And this here is a revenge card, and it's also like another very sensual uh uh graphic, at least sensual here, like with the body parts being exposed and stuff here. So if you're not turned off by graphic body parts, then this deck should be okay. And I really yes, thank you, Bella. for putting that link up for everybody. It's www.windsor winslowdomain.com dash shop. I'm gonna just I probably will put a link down below. But this is a really, really cool deck, and it's very, very unique. And I really like this one card too, the Void. I know, and this is something. Even though he changed a lot of the majors in this deck, if you've noticed, I do believe these are archetypes, major archetypes that aesthetic versus as okay, I'm trying to read Greenwell's words, and can't speak today. Greenwell, I'm sorry. Hey, Tiger's Abyss. But yeah, so this is the Void. But I do believe that what I was trying to say is, from the sneak peek that I had of this deck, these are archetypes that I think are very workable, even though they're not your standard Rider-Waite Smith majors. And so here you have the Will. That's what it is. Oh man, that's very dark. That is dark. I like that. It kind of, to me, has a. If anybody knows what I'm going to refer to, this looks almost like that Hangman in a way. But it kind of reminds me of that KKK almost. It's definitely a shadow deck, and maybe, and then it kind of reminds me of that KKK ness, where it's the symbol of Neptune here, but the reason why I would say it would definitely, I would have to read the guidebook. This one is going to be one I'm going to read the guidebook for 5 seconds, because this one is definitely one of those cards that I would rather know versus not know, especially if you're going to buy a deck. So let me go ahead and try to find that one. So Will. Okay, so he says here for Will, the procession of the Pain Prophet. Okay, so procession of the Pain Prophet is the keyword that he has on the top, which is right here. And it says proper, which is the upright, I think, is willpower, enduring pain for in material gain, and taking on a challenge task. And the inverted would be incomprehension, overwrought striving, and reduction. That's interesting. And then I'm just going to read this one, and we're not going to read the other ones. But the paragraph says, after the discovery of the immortality curse, the temple of the Par-Trail Newell splintered into a number of apostate groups. One of such groups are the Trildot, who believe suffering the key of cosmic knowledge. For the Trildot, immortality means formerly lethal agonies may be suffered to yield profound enlightenment, so fantastical that their highest honor is to be marched in flames. They believe that when the flesh is burned away, so are the inherent preconcepts of the body of bodily living. So it's kind of poetic in a way. So maybe it's a burning of the witches. Maybe I do not know anything about the Par-Trail Newells or the Trildot. I am ignorant, so I would have to do my own homework and research on that. And continuing onwards on the paragraph, it's immortal flesh persists through any destructive force in the blaze. The sacrifice seer is reduced to a charred rim of muscle and steaming skeleton, racked with agony and beholding fantastical visions. The suffering is too great, though. The the to understand the intellect of the cosmos is the most herbristic goal as mere human minds can ever conceive of such grand designs. This potent card is a sign of tremendous willpower and determination. Those who draw this card should trust their pain and stress is not beyond their capacity and that they are making progress towards their goal. Those beneath the signs should not fear those wildest ambitions. This is a great sign to undertake challenging tasks, especially one self-improvement inverted through though is a sign of knowledge beyond understanding and fruitless striving. This is not a sign to reconsider the goal, but the approach of one has adopted to request it. So that's kind of, yeah, I would say based on kind of like a Lovecraft thing, Tiger's Abyss. I would agree, but it's kind of poetic in a way. The way he words his guidebook is very poetic, yet it's very. I got to take off my glasses, even though you guys can't see me with glasses on today. But his the wording that he uses in the guidebook is very, very poetic and very kind of almost like riddle, kind of like Lovecraft. It would definitely remind me of some kind of more of a riddle. So this was one I was very curious about because to me that this would look like a KKK reference. My ignorance would say, if I could get this to zoom again, would say this is a KKK reference, but it's nothing but it kind of almost seems deep. Yes, it's very, very deep, and it's not superficial. I think that this deck is definitely one if you wanted to do your homework. This is a homework deck. This is not one that you would look at it for face value. And I would question doing a reading for this deck because maybe a client who is of African American origin would not appreciate this particular card because of its visual reference, even though the guidebook really, really isn't saying anything of that nature, or it basically this card is the will to survive, this will to keep going, the will to in the endurance is my going to be my keyword for this card is endurance, enduring through the pain. But honestly, I still would be very, very hesitant to do a reading just because of this card already. But let's move on forward. And so here's the next image, which is the Hanged Man. And if you look here, his palace is kind of wrapped around his body. And this is one that earlier that was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I never would have thought of the Hangman being this way. So it's really interesting. And here's another interesting card, which I've seen in my earlier walkthrough, was the Open Grave. And kind of is a very surrealistic view of the cemetery here. Oh, and then there's this like person right here just waiting at the door of this open grave. Wow. I'm laughing at the chat. And this is what is it? The treachery. And I think this might be like the almost like the maybe the devil card, maybe? I'm not sure. But I wanna know what these symbols is around his head. I think if I could bring the camera up closer, maybe you guys could see it. It looks like it's not gibberish. It looks like it is some sort of language, but I would have to look in the guidebook later. but I'm not gonna go to the guidebook every single card because this is a really deep deck, and I'm just not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there and go through every single card in the guidebook, even though I would want to. And this is the um degenerate, which kind of to me here looks hmm, very interesting. And this is the tower. And so this clearly looks like the Raider Waitesmith. The traitor is an alternate for the hangman. Oh, that's interesting. I would have to look in the guidebook. Um I would have to look into the cards again in the guidebook. That's a very interesting observation in Greenwell. I would have to look into that because I just want to read the book now. Me too. I actually kind of want to read the book on this deck before I go further in this as far as studying this deck. And this one's the star card. This one looks very Rider Waite Smith in a way where he's kind of shipwrecked and it's a like a star of hope in the middle of your distress. I like that for the star card actually. And then here you got the moon, which has all these like these hands for like these roots, and then you got the leaves and the burning trees. Oh, that's what that is. It's like a burning trees and stuff with the moon and all that. Wow. And this is the sun. I like that. And this one is judgment. And if you've seen on my Instagrams and stuff, I finished my judgment card. It's a little bit more Rider weighty. Yeah, I like that for judgment. That's really cool. The artist uses color well, but the deck is not for moi. Thank you for sharing. That's okay. That's okay. This deck is not going to be for everybody, everyone. I could tell you straight up because there's going to be a lot of symbolism in this deck, like we were just talking about, and that might be turn off. And this is just the majors. That it's not getting into the minors too. But I like this one for the world card too. And this is getting into the minors. The minors are very just a has of the normal structure. I so yeah, the minors here is the normal structure, Rider Waite Smith structure. I would have to do my research more on uh the deck as far as the majors go. I don't know if there's some missing majors and some added in majors and things like that. I would have to work with the archetypes of the majors in this deck for sure before I could also do a proper review. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the what do you call it? That one deck. It's that one deck. It's the Dreams of Gaia, where it's a Tarot Oracle. This deck kind of reminds me a little bit more of a Tarot Oracle versus a Tarot, just because the majors don't follow the rules of the majors. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that. I said that a million times. I am just not liking that talkingness today. And so here's the Two of Swords, which is very interesting. A lot of people did buy this deck, and I'm wondering how many people are gonna continue working with this deck after some of the imageries and stuff. I'm not sure, but a lot of people did get this deck. I really do like this deck though. This deck is really cool. And this one is the Four of Swords. I'm not seeing also a very traditional Rider Waite Smith symbolism. Some of the cards are like a very apparent, like, oh yes, I could see that. And other are gonna be are kind of like, I'm not seeing the Rider Waite, but I'm okay with that because I don't really read Rider-Waite Smith most of the time when I do my reading, so I don't mind, the alternative, symbolisms, and this one is, pretty interesting too. Six of Swords, and doesn't look like that Six of Swords either. This one's the Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. I really like that as the Nine of Swords, believe it or not. And this is a really kick-ass. Artistically speaking, I really like this one, which is the Ten of Swords. And I also have to say one more thing too. He did change the names of the pages into thrall. So instead of a page, it's the thrall. And it's the Thrall of Swords. Knights are the same, queens are the same, and kings are the same. But the pages are all thralls, which I kind of like. You know, it gives it a different twist. I like this page of swords. It kind of it's really nice. I just really like that one. Kind of I'm just also trying to scroll down my chat. I like this page, by the way, but I was just looking at the chat for 5 seconds and where you all are in the chat because it's not all in the same place. So here we have the Knight of Swords. I actually really enjoyed the knights in this deck. The knights are like, oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, the knights in this deck are really, really cool. I see Smokey Bear and versus Japan in an alternate universe WWE for the first Raw. Oh, but yeah, I really love the knights in this deck. And this is the Queen of Swords. And this one's the King of Swords. The kings are actually pretty cool too. I really like his studio space, you know, with the globe and the painting in the background and him with this little ghoulish face looking on like a zombie. Kind of like that. Uh I like what happened to her V? I don't know what happened to her V. It looks like she's giving birth to her bats. She's giving birth to bats. That's what happened to her, V. I'm sorry, the chat is a little bit slower than okay. They're all yeah, no kidding. So I'm trying to get the camera focused again. So this is the Ace of Wands. It's a very dark Two of Wands here. It looks kind of like something from The Thing. If you guys seen the old 1980s Thing, maybe the new one too, but the 1980s Thing, this kind of reminds me of that 1980s Thing, a creature. This one is the Three of Wands. Very interesting there. I like his work of pen. I really like this Four of Wands right here. This one is a really cool card. I really love the reds in this one a lot. There is something about the reds and the use of color in this particular card, the Four of Wands, that is just amazing. And how I usually read the fours is fours are all about structure and the wands are passion. So I really, really enjoy the colors in this deck. This is like very red and very purple and blue here. So I really like that. Here you have the Five of Wands. It kind of is a little bit more Rider-Waite Smith in this card, where you got the people down here and him defending himself all the way up here. Oh my god, look at that Six of Wands. He kind of reminds me of that creature from the Pan's Labyrinth with the hands as the eyes and stuff. That's kind of really cool, creepy. So definitely a very creepazoid deck. If you're not into creepy decks, this is definitely not going to be for you. This is probably going to be more of a personal deck for me. This is definitely this is definitely a personal deck. I don't think I would ever read with this with a client. The more and more I walk through the deck, and this is interesting here too. It's the Eight of Wands. But it's definitely different, and it's wow, look at that. That's the Nine of Wands here. Very interesting. And then you got the Ten of Wands. Oh, I love her. It's just beautiful here. Something very magical about her. I don't know why. Even though she's got fingerless, she got no fingers. She got her fingers chopped off. But there's something very magical about her. I wonder if he did what's YouTube following or not YouTube following. It is a YouTube art community following called, they call it Inktober, where they use their yeah, for sure, Bella. I'm looking at every single one of these cards, and there's a YouTube art following hashtag that people do is called Inktober. And Inktober's about these YouTube artists go ahead and do ink drawings for a month, all in the month of October. And so I wonder if this was something that he was doing for what you call Inktober. So I'm looking at some of these cards and going, this is all ink and maybe like a red ink or a marker. So I wonder if this is something that he was doing for one of these YouTube, Instagram challenges called Inktober that they do on social, artists do on social media. And that's would be something interesting if I would to read the guidebook to look into. The Thrall of Wands. I really like him. I like his look at that. I love the colors. It's not even doing the colors justice. It's like that beautiful blue, purple, red, and orange in the background. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then this was a beautiful Knight of Wands. I really like this one. He was one of my favorites when I was looking into the deck. Was this one? I really love his horse thing. I don't know what it is. A unicorn horse. I like that. That one was one that I really liked when I got this deck. And this one is the Queen of Wands. And this one's the King of Wands. I like that. Actually, that one's a beautiful King of Wands. I love how he's kneeling on the throne here. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I will read one more from the book. How about that? I'll find a card and I'll read one of the minors from the book. I will do one more from the book here. Here's the Ace of Cups. Is the Two of Cups. But yeah, I will read one more excerpt from the book and find a really cool card. How about this, Bella? Shuffle the deck and we will read whatever card comes up from the book. There you go. Excuse me, everyone. We'll shuffle the cards and read that from the book because I do agree that we should um that for those who want to get the deck and maybe want to buy the guidebook, and I don't know if the guidebook is separate on his website or not, but it would definitely determine one if they want to get the book or not. Yeah. 4 cups. Look at that. I love him. And then this is my year card, which is the 5 cups right here. That's so cool. I really love this deck. This is a really cool deck. 6 of cups. That's interesting. 7 of cups. It's kind of not kind of picking up some of those details there. Oh, there we are. Oh, I love this one. This was one I really liked when I saw the deck online before I got it. Was this one? It was the 8 of cups here. Really loved him. 9 of cups. 10 of cups. The Thrall of Cups here. This one was a really cool one. Oh, I like that Knight of Cups too. Like I said, I really enjoyed all the knights in this deck. This deck had really cool knights in particular. And this one was a really cool Queen of Cups. I really enjoyed the Queen of Cups in this one. Oh, this King of Cup guy is kind of awesome. It was really awesome too. He just dumping out his water and stuff. Here we have the Ace of Stars. And so, okay, the Pentacles is, hey, did Shiki just pop in to say hi? Bye. Gotta go pick up my son at the bus stop. Thanks for doing the first live stream. No problem, Miss Shiki. So hopefully I'll be involved with your live streamings and stuff later, and whenever you get one scheduled. And so this one is the Ace of Stars here. This one is the 2 of Stars. And so the stars are the pentacle suits. I like the stars versus pentacles. And so that's interesting. So I usually read the pentacles as the balancing of the physical world, or that balance of the physical world. So here you have the one dies and one is rebirthed. I think that's how I would decipher this card. Wow. Poor pony. My husband would really not appreciate this card whatsoever. Is the eating of the dead horsey. And this is a 4 of Stars here. That's interesting. I didn't notice this evil face in the background. 5 of Stars here. 6. 7. 8. I really like this graph here, whatever that is. I would have to read the guidebook later on that one. Really like that 8 of Stars. 9. Oh, he's beautiful. 10. He actually has like this hint of green right up here in his crown or whatever he is. It's really cool. I really like his the artistic expression on that one. This one is the Thrall of Stars, Page of Pentacles. I think it's pretty cool that he's riding like this rat. Knight of Stars. Queen of Stars with her wolves. That is actually a pretty cool one. And all these wolves have like this third eye on them. And the last card is the King of Stars. Okay, I'm going to do a few rifle shuffles for this deck and show you guys how it shuffles. I'm pretty sure it's going to shuffle great because it's a glossy deck. And oh, yes, that's a nice shuffle. I really like how it shuffles. It's a beautiful, beautiful shuffle. It's shuffles like a dream. I've been also watching Dexter lately, so it's definitely kind of interesting um to work with this deck as I'm watching my Dexter shows. It's a very slippery cardstock, so I do have to admit that this deck is very, very, very slippery already as far as cardstock goes. And I'm going to draw one more card and draw one card, and I'm going to read that card from the guidebook, and then we'll do a few example spreads. How about that? Sounds like a plan to me. So let's go ahead and feel the card draw of the day. So yes, I got the card that I really wanted to read. One of the cards I really wanted to read because I really enjoyed her. I really loved her. She is like the 10 of Wands right here. She was so beautiful. If you guys remembered her from the walkthrough, and so I'm sorry. I'm kind of biased. She's so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So let's go ahead and find her in here. So we got maybe I will read one of the majors too. I'll be bad and try to pull the majors and read one of the majors. You know, one from not majors, one from the courts. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I meant courts and I said majors. Okay, so the 10 of Wands is the sister Maltris Miranda? Miranda? So it's a sister Maltris Miranda. Interesting. I'm just trying to get it to focus here. Hopefully I can hold that while I read. And the proper is devotion to a sibling, bargains, and tailed creatures. Inverted is troubles that bring unexpected rewards. Theft, thieves, and the return of stolen goods. So it's very Rider Waite already, you know, because it's troubles bringing unexpected rewards, theft, thieves, and return of stolen goods. So if you remember the Rider Waite Smith version of this card, it's the guy carrying all these sticks and going uphill, it seems. And so that's the Rider Waite reference to this deck, if you remember. And so, okay. Oh my god. I'm gonna read it. I'm sorry. When Miranda, I think, is the 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 name is when Miranda's baby sister fell ill. She resolved to do anything in her power to bring her to health, including appealing to forbidden forces. Thus, a deal was struck between her and the demonic prince Cthulhu. Oh, so it is a kind of a Lovecraft reference. Miranda would steal back his tail from the holy specter of Saint Zik, the paladin who cut it off hundreds of years ago, and he would restore her sister. Miranda snuck into the catacombs beneath the cathedral and used her wand to cast the stone cover from the tomb. When she emerged, the tail Cthulhu leapt from the trees and graciously accepted, but wished that the cathedral guard discovered them. Charged with meddling with obscene entities, Miranda was sent to the dungeon where her wand was broken, and her meddlesome fingers were cut from her hands. Devastated, powerless, Miranda's tears turned to confusion when Cthulhu reappeared. With a long, thin smile, he upheld his end of the bargain. Not only did he cure her baby sister, he reattached Miranda's fingers, making each one into a wand with a silver of his otherworldly power. The sliver of his otherworldly power. If I could talk to get it day. I'm sorry, everybody. This card is a significant. No, this card is a sign for brothers and sisters and the love and responsibility that exists between them. This card is assigned to reach out, if possible, to one's siblings or close friends. This is also a sign of the tail, the limb, which enables android motion through delicate situations. Lightness is key. Do not step too heavily when on unsure ground. Those who draw this card inverted should be mindful of thieves and respectful of the property of the others. So this is kind of a mixture of Lovecraft's writing and some of the um, influences, I'm guessing. So let me go ahead and do something for a moment, everyone. Let me go to the beginning. About this deck. Okay. Maybe I should have read the about this deck before we should have jumped right into it. I believe people should explore their suffering. Understand the causes of your pain is the key to growth. If you suffer and do not learn, you will have suffered for nothing. In creating this deck, it took my experience with betrayal and heartbreak and retold them on a cosmic scale. Many cards were inspired by strong women in my life. Their struggles with abuse, violence helped me understand the abuse I suffered much better, and I can't thank them enough. And all things must end. Without ending, regrowth is impossible. I hope this deck provides a window into your pain, and this you may grow stronger. Oh my god, this is going to be the deck of the year. I know it. I know it. I know it. Oh my god. Okay, but let me see if I can skim and see if he makes any mention of Lovecraft. No, I'm not seeing that there. The Tarot Restless, how to conduct a reading. But it's very obvious now that after reading that one card that it is really inspired by the Lovecraft's stories, and the art he chose for this is kind of reflected on that. So she is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, and this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Oh. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back into the deck, and I'm gonna do another 3-card spread and see what I say about the cards versus what he says about the cards. I'm gonna try to put the guidebook aside and put my interpretations forward for a moment. So I'll do a 3-card spread reading to show what it will look like in a 3-card spread in a moment. And I'm gonna do a real spread, a reading for myself, and not so I'll do a real reading for myself. Oh my goodness, if I could even talk today, I have to have the guidebook. I agree. I don't think I would have got on with this deck as well if I didn't have this guidebook with me. That would be something else that I would highly recommend those who are looking into buying this deck. Everyone, you should probably look into getting the guidebook too, because there's a lot of references and things that you would have not understood unless that's otherwise. So I'll do a 3 reading on myself. So a Mural's crash test on anything. So I got King of Wands. I got the Hierophant, and I have the sorcerer sorceress. um See if I could get it to focus. Okay, so it's not really focusing well like I want, so I'm gonna have to lift it up and do it this way. Okay, so already from what I could see, King of Wands. You're all lucky that I can read upside down. For me, the king is that hierarchy or that ascended energy sometimes. And especially in this deck, I get the vibe or the feeling that he's more of ascended passions, the ascended or the supposed to be the one on top of the everything. So he's like the and unlike the Terror of the Crown, which is like the that they're so ascended that they fall. This one is kind of reminding me of the same vibe. He's kind of like where he's so ascended that he falls back to earth in a way. And that's kind of what I'm sensing already in this energy and what I'm getting this reading for myself as a crash test reading for you all. That I'm so ascended in my passions. I am so ascended in everything that I am doing, and that I'm inadvertently making myself I'm being my own downfall, and that I could see that actually being true in my life right now. I could see that, with everything going on with the J Shadows Tarot, with everything in my art, and I am doing a lot of writing on top of everything too, that I'm just doing so much, things, and I got so much on my plate that I'm actually making myself fall in the process because I'm of burnout probably, like that, emotional burnout or that, creative burnout, and that's kind of what I'm getting here. The Hierophant card is, for me, usually is always about, traditions, doctrines, and things of that nature, and how he relates to this reading, I think. How am I feeling how he's incorporated in this reading for right now? I'm just trying to sense my energies, because this is a self reading, and I'm trying to explain it through it, basically. And so, okay, the Hierophant card is relating to myself in a way I think that I've been having some dreams at night, and I think this is kind of relating to some of those dreams where I am feeling like that, I'm kind of feeling like with my spirituality and my spiritual journey, I'm kind of always going back to square one. It seems like it's like I go all the way away from Christianity. I go all the way from this and that, and this and that, and from anything that I possibly know, just to go back to some sort of structure, back to square one again. And that's what I'm thinking that I am going through right now is that I am going abroad. I was going abroad for a lot for many years and stuff, and trying to figure out my life as far as my what's my doctrine, what is my spirituality, because when you're fallen from the church and fallen from everything you've known, basically, you kind of are unstructured and unbridled, unbroken kind of personality. And so it's kind of interesting going back to ground zero again and going back to a place of oneness with myself, a place of going back to traditions or finding or recreating my traditions through my daughters, because I'm not a very traditional, like I said, because of my breaking away from all of the traditions I've ever known when I grow up. I'm not really. structured or traditional or anything, and so I'm trying to find that place of structured and traditionalness when I'm raising my daughters and trying to teach them the importance of being structured and be in tradition, and what is the importance of making my own new traditions and stuff with them. And so I guess that's what's there too. So that one is a very deep card for me. I'm gonna have to read the guidebook on the Hierophant. But and then this one is the Sorceress, which is probably the equivalent of the uh I think this one was the like equivalent to your high priestess in a way. So the sorceress right here. And she looks like she's giving birth to this demon creature. She's giving birth to this monster, if you could see that here. And so this giving birth of that inner monster and that inner power is definitely could see this sorry everyone. Let me try to get it to focus again. Focus. Focus. Okay. I think I got it. So this giving birth to that inner monster and that inner power that giving birth to that life of um co-creating your reality in a way. And so this is a topic that am talking to my mom a lot right now because she's um trying to heal herself as far as her codependent self. You know, what is making her hold on to these bad learned behaviors through yourself and through others, and what others taught you is a bad behavior. What are you co-creating in your life basically, and what are you manifesting in yourself, and what is it going to show, what is that demon going to look like on the other side basically is what I'm getting. Is what kind of thing are you giving birth to? Are you giving birth to something that is something that you're gonna like or something you're not gonna like, and you're gonna have to do some healing work. And I do love this deck actually. This is a very good reading deck for yourself and for those who are bold, that I could read with others and they would be very okay okay and open with this deck. But this is a very great shadow worky deck for me. I could see me doing some journaling with this deck or doing some art, inner release work with this deck because what kind of demons are you giving birth to, and what are you not liking in yourself? And you're the co-creator in your life, and what can you make for yourself? So I really like this. I really, really, really like this deck. This deck is amazingly great. I really love the message that I had for myself here. And this is kind of what a 6-card spread would look like with this deck, because I love my 6-card spreads. So, I love me some 6-card spreads, and it's definitely very, very deep, and it could go very deep, into your spirituality and spiritual work, and if ooh. I lost my chat there for a second, but I'll get back here in a second, but, uh, hold on. Come on. I lost the chat there for a second. I'm sorry, everybody. Ugh. Poop, 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 poop. I'm more kind of playing with my mouse here. My mouse is kind of on my keyboard here, so there we are. There we are. I have to figure out a better system for this eventually, but as of right now, it works. So there you go. It's definitely a very deep deck, and I very much like the imagery of this deck. Even though it probably is not for everybody, it's definitely not for the faint of heart kind of intel. And I think I'll do maybe one. I'm not gonna probably do. If you guys want to, I think I have some time that I could kill, and maybe not a whole lot of time. But does anybody would the first three people want a one card reading, and I could read a message from the guidebook, or I could give you an intuitive reading. I will do one reading. 1, 2, 3. Text. The first person that texts in the comments is gonna get a quick free reading. Okay, Belle won. I'm sorry, everyone else. so Belle says me. Okay, so we're gonna give Miss Belle a card reading, but she's thinking about buying the deck anyway. So there you go. So it might help her out just a little bit. And I promise I won't reveal anything that would be confidential or anything else, because I know that is a worry for public readings on these live chats and stuff, that if I do find or sense something that is confidential, and I won't brag about it too much. I'm buying it. I love it. She says, so good. Good. It's a great deck. I already love it. And I think I'm going to do some shadow working with this tonight. So, I'm gonna... Okay, she got the Queen of Wands. And I will go ahead and do both ways. I would read for her here, and then I'll do a little bit of the guidebook. So for me, already intuitively, Queen of Wands is all about the emotional passions. Oh, that's your card. Oh my god, that's my card. So it's the emotional passions, the passions of your it's the emotional passions. And actually, believe it or not, Miss Bella, this card is going to be my next um card that I'm going to do in my court card series. Whenever we go back into the court card series, I'm going to try to schedule a day, maybe Friday evening or something like that. I'll actually schedule it this time when I have Becky or one of my nurse people here. And I'm going to do another court card, continue on in the court cards. But the Queen of Wands is going to be the next one. And so it's all about that emotional passions, those emotional expressions of yourself. What are you emotionally expressing in yourself is what I'm already that with the Myers-Briggs test, then that was the card for me. I will tell you what mine is here in a second, Bella, but that is cool. So cool. And so already, what are you emotionally expressing? What is what you're expressing in your emotions right now? And I think that those are all, that's something that to think about, is like, what am I really expressing right outwards to the world? And right here I have in the guidebook, it says the wrathful queen Mildred. I think that's what it is. Mildred. Yeah, it's Mildred. I think that's very English way of spelling it, though. Mildred. So it's the upright from this from the guidebook. It says the upright is steadfastness of being secure in oneself and unity amongst those with similar interests or talents. And that is something that I would definitely agree with the Queen of Wands, is that you being because when you're emotionally passionate about something, you got to be secure about it. And because those emotions could be like water and they can immediately fall apart if you're not being careful with that, is usually how I interpret like the Queen of Wands. And then the inverted is the stressful reliance. Okay, that was my hubby. The stress, the invert is a stressful self-reliance. having to take the reins when others fail, and being eh, uniquely equipped for all the for a difficult encounter. And being uniquely equipped for a difficult encounter. So because water falls apart in your hands, and fire and water are like the two forces that are kind of polar opposites of each other in a way. So that's kind of what I'm sensing what that means there. So it could easily all fall apart, as well as being a really good expresser of your emotions. And despite her plans, Queen Mildred was helpless as a migrating wall of smoke approached her city. The smoke is an inevitable enemy, and while it does not move quickly, it passes over mountaintops and through dense forests with ease. Those caught unaware begin to cough and wheeze until they double over and collapse, and they rise, shoot, stained, and murmuring, stumbling fever in the limitless black expanse. Their minds are totally extinguished by for their endless yearning. They know not where they are or were, but they are not where they should be. And it's still this terrible arrival. Queen Medrode joined her corps of magicians and conjurers to cast gales at the wall of smoke. It was not enough to protect the city, but enough to cut a column of clarity that allowed her people to escape. Only Mildred remained, swirling about her person a shaft of wind stretching to the sky. Queen fights her the queen fights there forever, a singular point of daylight, unyielding to the suffocating blackness. Those who draw this card should be confident in themselves. None know the trouble at hand better than they, and they should request the resolution of the trouble. They should trust their judgment. Those who draw this card inadvert may experience the pains of this self-reliance, especially when it's necess- necessitated by the failure of others. It is good that a problem can uh, ably resolved by one's actions, but those actions can be inconvenient and taxing. Oh, wow. Wow. That's deep. I like that. I really, really like that. Uh, and I'm not gonna go further with it because I could read into it and all that stuff a little bit deeper, but I'm for the sake of doing a public reading for this and with this one card, I'm gonna just leave it be. It's beautiful. I really, really love it. I really, really love it a lot. And definitely, I hope that gives you all a really good first impressions of the cards too. If you guys like the deck, I think it's still available on his website, and his website is it's on this business card. So it's www.winslowdomain.com. Just exactly like how it's spelled right there. I am not going to spell it out for you. And so this is there's nothing back in the back of the card, but it did say here in this letter that there's still more decks in the shop and things like that. So he said spread the word and uh, give a good review of the deck. I do want to read more into the deck. Okay, yes, it's $60 and it's his site. And so yeah, it's $60 on his site, and he said spread the word. And here we are. We're gonna spread the word. So I hope that everybody really enjoys that deck. That deck is a very deep deck. I'm thinking I'm gonna read into more of the guidebook. This is going to be one of those decks I believe that I'm going to be working for this year. There, if you guys follow my channel enough, you will know. Hold on, let me put myself up. Oh my goodness! And so, okay, um, I did a lot of pre-orders this year. If you follow me on my channel, I did a lot of pre-orders, a lot of things coming in the mail randomly because I did a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, pre-orders, and all that good stuff. So I'm this is like one of those decks of the year for me. It's definitely gonna be a working horse deck, I think. I think that this is gonna be greatly loved and abused for sure. And I'm glad I've seen everybody. Oh my goodness. I was hiding under all that camera down stuff. So there you go. So I'm gonna have to get back with a proper review later. But as of right now, I think this is a really good first impression starter. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to boot off here. An hour was a little bit longer than I wanted to do today. I was gonna go sort through clothes and stuff like that and doing some more adulting while the kids are sleeping. So unfortunately, that's all I have. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. And hopefully I will learn how to talk because apparently I can't talk this chat. This has been a bad chat for talking. I just can't talk at all. And I love you. Bye.